I just wanted to go ahead and take the bike out for the very first time just to do a first ride impression on the new 2024 Aprilia RS660. You guys that have been following the channel know I just got these this last Tuesday or Wednesday, was it? I can't remember. Forgot I didn't even turn this on yet. I'm gonna go ahead and just take it out for a short spin. The bike is 100% stock, guys. I have done nothing to the bike other than literally add the tank grips, and that's it. I have a huge parts order coming in tomorrow from Manny down at Moto Million, and he sent me a bunch of parts up. But we're going to go ahead and just take this out for a little spin. The bike right now only has 7 miles on it, so we're going to go for a little spin and see exactly how she handles and reacts to these to the actual roads back here in South Carolina. So we're going to go check it out. We'll be able to go ahead and just see where we're going. Should be awesome. I can tell you right now, what's so cool about this bike is it's extremely punchy. It's very torque filled, this bike. I am also in dynamic mode at the current moment. The auto blip feels really good. So I sit a lot higher on this bike than I do on really any other bike that I've ever ridden, but it's actually quite comfortable. Very smooth on the Aprilia. The suspension's really nice on this bike too. Neutral on that one. One thing I've always noticed is whenever I get a new bike, I have to get used to the actual shifter with my boots, my Alpine Star boots. You guys know when you're riding with boots, it has that little rubber nub. I'm always trying to just adjust to see exactly what it's going to take for me to get my foot underneath that clutch. I need to change it to a GP shift. That'd make it a lot easier. Wow, this bike has got all day comfort written on it. If you were watching the previous videos too, I am going to have this bike, it's going to be Bren tuned by BT Moto out of California, and I'm excited to see exactly how that's going to affect the bike. So I'm kind of just riding around stock just to give you guys a first ride impression. But even stock, guys, the bike is extremely punchy. It's very comfortable. I haven't dialed in the suspension yet or anything on this bike, but just straight out of the crate, it feels really good. Like very compliant. just not used to this riding position. I feel like I'm so high. Like I'm on a naked bike, it feels like, almost. Dang mirrors. I haven't had mirrors in so long. I usually have block-off plates on my bikes. The mirrors are actually really nice in this thing. They don't vibrate. You can see right through them. So far so good, guys. You know, one thing I was impressed with is when I ordered this bike, they aired it. Like it didn't come on a boat, it came actually over on an airplane, and the bike got here in like 4 days from Italy. I received the origination destination paperwork so I could title and license the actual bike, obviously with the crates, and the DMV was really fast about that. So shout out to South Carolina DMV for getting stuff done so quickly on the bikes. But this has literally been talked about so much by other guys who ride, especially track racers, saying that if you don't have an RS660 in your arsenal, you are literally missing out. Now, in comparison, let's say, to a Yamaha R6, this does not feel like anything like my Yamaha R6 did. It's very, I feel like I'm sitting straight up. I'm not gonna lie. The R6, I felt like obviously I was in a more aero position. But on this bike, I feel like I'm sitting more straight up. The only way I can describe it, guys, I feel like I'm riding like an MT-07 or an MT-09 naked bike. That's what it feels like to me. So, obviously, I haven't taken this to the track yet. We've got track week coming up here in a couple of weeks. I'm going to do some mods, get this thing tuned, obviously. And this is probably going to be the bike that I'm going to take up. You do know that I did bring in two bikes. I brought in the RS660 and the RSV for 1100 factory in the lightning white edition, the special edition color. So, but I'm going to take, I think, the 660 and just take this bike and ride it around for the time being that we're up there at Road Atlanta. I'm kind of excited about that. It should be really fun. The bike is really stable in the wind. We have on this road, because it is flat, there is a decent crosswind, but the bike is not phased by it. I'm not getting jostled around. Believe it or not, guys, the Yamaha, the Fireblade that I had, that bike actually got kind of tossed around a little bit in crosswinds, which is weird, because it's a 1000cc, presumably a heavier bike, obviously. But this one tends to cut the wind pretty good. I'm very pleased with the way it feels. A 600, the bike cruises very comfortably in fourth gear. Downshifts on this bike are very smooth. I am very, very impressed with downshifts. Very butter-like. If you've never ridden with an auto blip before, it's an experience and a half. Just makes riding that much more enjoyable. Clutchless shifts are amazing, actually. Finding that this thing kicks into neutral, really, you gotta actually jam it in a second here. Maybe because it's not broken in yet, but yeah, I've had to, you don't just tap it like you do a regular R1, R1M, ZX10R, ZX10RR. Maybe that's a 600cc thing, I'm not sure. That's the second time I've done that, where I've gone from first to neutral, not first to second. So I'm going to have to figure out if it's just the way that my foot is coming up on the actual shifter itself. I might be pulling it out a little bit, which is causing it to go in the neutral instead of just coming straight up. I'll have to fix that. That could get annoying real quick. Such a beautiful day today. Happy Father's Day also too to all the men out there. I was already done with all the festivities, so I thought I would just go take a little bit of a ride while I had a chance. It's always nice and fun to be recognized by the family those days. Feels so good in the shade down here. Kind of hot back here in the country. Doing so much construction out here in this land. That was a little bit better. First to second on that one there. These V-twins just feel so different than a straight inline engine. Very torquey. Sounds good stock. I kind of like the sound of this bike. I obviously am torn about putting an exhaust on here. If I do, it's almost like going to be like an SC Project or possibly a Kropovich. Full system. Since you're not really able to do a slip-on these bikes because of the way the stock exhaust is a split, it's like a fork tooth exhaust. So most of the exhausts that I've been looking at have all been full systems, mostly titanium. SC Project, Kropovich, and Aero have a solution for the 2024 RS660. is well behaved though. Very well behaved. I think that guy was on a scooter. This thing out on the freeway too to see exactly how she performs at freeway speed. So pretty out here. So well behaved in the curves. Impressive. The power on these things is like, the torque on it, it's uncanny. It just pulls. Very nice. Very nice, even pull. I am also, guys, if you can see my screen, I also am in dynamic mode, so I think that's why where I'm getting the torquey punchiness from the throttle, and I like it. I like it a lot. guys are probably freaking out at the way that I drive these bikes. You're like, oh, CK, you're not breaking it in properly, but if you're gonna baby your bike like this, these bikes are made to go crazy. They've been broken into the factory. Little do you know, once they build the engine, they put it up to a machine, and that machine just cranks the hell out of them. That way they can find out if there's any parts that are busted or not right before it gets sent or gets put into the frame and sent out. I don't really baby with the bikes too much, especially when they're brand new. Say, man, just the riding posture, the way the bike leans, guys, I think we're on to something here. Aprilia, I think nailed it with this RS660 platform. Is just so nice. It's so different than anything I've ever ridden. It's comfortable, it's fast, it's confidence inspiring. It's very solid. Again, it's really windy out. You guys can't see this, but there's a crosswind and the bike is not getting shifted at all. It's like it absorbs it so well. Bike is due to get ceramic coated also too this next week, just to protect the paint. Let me tell you this, if you ever buy a bike from me, the bike is so set up for long-term durability. You don't really have to worry about it too much. So nicely. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm just like flicking my head in order to get the bike to go. I'm not really counter steering or pressing hard on the handlebars at all. Just my head pretty much moving the bike. It's kind of nice. You guys know too, typically on a new bike, another reason why I like to ride it hard is because whatever is going on, engine wise obviously, you tend to get fragments of the engine, like little particles, become loose obviously and enter into the belly pan. I try to do an oil change on the bikes at 500 miles. Just to get all the particles out. start with a fresh set of fluids, and then you can ride the bike pretty hard for the next, you know, I try to change my oil every 2,000 miles, so just keep the engine happy. I know a lot of people talk about, you know, Aprilia liability or reliability and just long-term durability of the bikes. I can't talk to it yet because I haven't had one long enough, but I do know that any bike, I don't care what brand it is, if you take care of it, it's going to last. You're not going to have problems. You just have to be more proactive. Guys, I am literally just enjoying this ride. It's so comfortable. It's like the bike just points itself into the apex, like it knows exactly kind of where it wants to go. And then it just like goes. Look, I'm not even doing anything, guys. It's like moving my head. It just takes the like fastest line that it can. It's so cool. Crosswind and still holding the line tight. It's just amazing, man. Just amazing. Check to see if the throttle will throw me if I kind of pull it off throttle. Nothing. Smooth. Real smooth. I like that. Super eye-opening. I don't know if you guys noticed this too, but this is one of the few bikes that has actually a gas gauge on it. It's so nice to have, not to be guessing like how much fuel I have left in the tank. That was the first cross that I actually felt on this one. Pushed a little bit, nothing crazy. You can see my bike kind of moving to the side. The crosswinds are strong back here in this area. haven't been out here in a while. Nice fruit stand. Stock exhaust sounds really good in this bike. Not sure if you guys are getting those exhaust tones through the mic, but oh, sounds great. Very V-twinish. Reminds me of the old days when I used to ride a Suzuki TL1000R. You guys remember that? I owned that bike when I lived in Las Vegas. It was so much fun. Great bike. I used to remember ripping on that thing before the Summerlin Parkway was actually finished. They had like all this brand new road but nobody to ride it. It was great. New roads are so smooth. Pretty cool. So I'm actually using a new camera setup, guys, with a GoPro Hero 12, but with the brand new 2.0 max lens setup. So I'm not sure how this is going to look, guys, but because I haven't, this is first ride with it, but hopefully it turns out really good. I have high hopes for it. Jesus is coming. Indeed he is. Okay, I always go down this one road here just to check how the suspension reacts to it, because it's kind of a bad road. It's like a cut through pretty much to another freeway. But you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. So I want to see how divoted the road is. Ooh, wow, that wasn't bad. Ooh, okay, here's a whoopie-doo. I'm trying to hit as many potholes as I can. Wow, not too shabby, Aprilia. Ooh, very smooth, buttery. Very compliant. Man, I remember the first time I went over that sucker with the ZX10RR. I had to check my fillings, make sure they were still intact. Jeez, that neutral. I hope the tune fixes that bad boy. It's the third time it's done that. roads, I get a little nervous on them when they're just laid like this because it gets so oily. Kind of slippery. Super windy here. Houses that have been built out here. I've been down this way in a long time. Bike is very stable though, and I'm getting tossed around a little bit, but the bike is holding its line. I've been watching the temperature of the bike. This bike stays actually kind of cool considering how hot it is right now. What I'm doing. I bet you usually when it's going into a false to a neutral is I may not be revving it high enough. It seems like this bike really likes to get above 9, almost 10,000 RPM for it to shift like really smoothly. of leaning forward a little bit. It takes a lot of that push away. I haven't buried my head into the tank yet or anything, but it just kind of does help. Been a really nice and relaxing ride so far. It's funny, so I know they put the RS660 and the Yamaha R7 kind of in the same category, but this bike feels way better than my R7 that I had when they first came out. I really feel like this bike is much more powerful, torquey at least for sure, and way more comfortable. Like, way more comfortable. Really just enjoying this ride. Weird to think that this bike is kind of an all-arounder. They say it's really great in the track, but it's an everyday type of bike ride as well. This could be your everyday bike. I'm believing it because it's so comfortable. It just feels good. Everybody's coming out of the water now. I'm getting used to it now. The shifter just has to be pushed in the other way. Just the angle of my foot. Yeah, I like Aprilia's power map on this dynamic. It's nice. Not a bad map from Aprilia stock. I kind of like it. Sufficient power in the van. Even cool. There's no. I didn't feel a dead spot. That's one thing in the Fireblade before it was flashed. Oh my gosh! Between 6,000 and maybe 10,000 RPM, it's like a huge dead spot. You'd be pulling back on the throttle, nothing would happen, and all of a sudden, boom, you almost get thrown off the bike. It's crazy. This one, super easy, even pull through the power band. It feels so just nice. As I pull back on the throttle, power is given, acceleration is there. Beautiful. Really impressed. You guys, these bikes too are not that expensive, man. I'm talking like 11,900, maybe 12,000 out the door with tax and everything. Tax and license, not bad at all. I hate, guys are gonna kill me when I say this, but this bike rides better than my Ducati Panigale V2. I like this bike way better. Way better. I know it's not the same comparison, R660 versus the 900cc type bike, but still, displacement wise, this bike is more pull than it. I don't know. It sounds better too. I love the way Ducati looks. I hate the way they sound. Gosh, this was very fun. That was a nice little lap. Beautiful. We're gonna go into the freeway too. I want to basically feel what it feels like on open freeway, on open road here. So I kind of go this route in the beginning. I just want to feel what it feels like at freeway speeds. See if we can get ourselves into 6th gear too, which would be nice. We'll work our range up here. These Brembo, it's really funny, these Brembo brakes, I have to adjust. I think it's my actual leather. I'm going to be changing these levers out too because I don't like them. These long ones, I want a shorty on this sucker. I'm not used to these ones. They don't feel very, they're not very compliant. Check this out, guys. Let's see what we get on the freeway. Come on board here. plenty fast. I mean, just for highway cruising, not a problem. I was barely pulling on the throttle. Man, the suspension on this thing, I've said it like 5 times already, it's phenomenal. I just love the way this bike feels. What a great ride. Guys, pretty impressed, man. And take it from somebody that's ridden all kinds of bikes. You guys know I've owned them all. And this one is by far the most comfortable bike I've ever ridden. Like, hands down. Most comfortable non-naked sport bike I have ever ridden. I mean, it feels like I'm riding a naked. It's so just that comfortable. So well mannered too. Very well behaved. The Aprilia 2024 RS660 first ride. Wow. Look at all the chain slap. I'm gonna have to get all that stuff degreased, but I'll tell you, I am not disappointed by any means. This bike rolls. Anyway, guys, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, follow, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the inside.